from MakingStarWars.net, and today we're going to talk about some Star Wars news. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video and all that jazz. And we're on all the podcast formats and everything. Whatever, you know where to get it. If you want it, you know where to find it. So the news of the day, we have this little bit right here about Bob Iger talking about Disney Plus. I think it's a telling kind of piece of I don't know, story about where we're going in the future, about what's going to happen, and contextualizes it a bit against the state of Disney Plus and all of that. So we'll look at this little chat they have here.
I mean, when it started, as you said, you were very focused on obtaining subs as quickly as possible. You did that. You seem to be moving away from that now. Not seem to, you are. I mean, you're not talking about sub growth in the same way that you were certainly 2 years ago or 3 years ago. You're talking now about profitability and about.
So, yeah, can you guys hear that? Okay, let me know in the chat if it's not playing right or anything like that. But you should be able to hear it. I hope you can. But yeah, Disney Plus. Basically, when this started, they had insane subscriber growth, especially with COVID and the pandemic. And then once that plateaued, once we started to go on to what we're considering to be the other side of the pandemic, investors were like, oh my God, it's over. But it was I think it was a bit premature for them to want that at this point in time. But let's see what he says.
Cutting costs to get to that profit.
Well, I think one of the things that happened was we got a little bit maybe complicated by our own sub growth. You said 60 to 90 million subs in 5
so did
years.
Investors.
We blew through that.
That took the stock up enormously when you kept
getting feedback there, Jason.
Suddenly everybody.
What? What are you doing here? I didn't know you were here. You sneaky.
Hey, I saw Avatar. I had to show up, buddy. Like, someone say Avatar.
Yeah,
I'm here. Hey, hold on. I even got my bootleg mug. Made my
sorry.
Bootleg mug.
We're getting a little bit.
I even had it. I even gave it a blue tail, Jason. You like that? It lines right up. It's a little blue tail for the handle.
You and your cat people.
Mm-hmm.
But right here.
They all can't be Bad Batch, Jason.
All right, that's fair.
Is this business ever really going to generate cash?
Well, but before that, we blew through that in a year, and
Yeah.
suddenly everybody was on board with this meteoric subrise,
Right.
and that it would continue.
Others followed you into the market as well, though, at fairly low price
and we
points.
leaned into that because it seemed like that was the primary metric that we'd be measured by. Now,
Primary metrics. That's what Rob's all about. Did that fix that audio a little bit?
Yeah, we can hear fine now.
Okay, it's weird. Sometimes
you wanna restart it though, because I could not tell what the fuck they were saying in the beginning. Like,
it doesn't matter.
No?
Basically, what happened? Well, all that they were talking about in that beginning part is that they were expecting to have this certain amount of subscribers within 5 years, and the pandemic pushed them ahead. And then when investors looked at Disney Plus this last time, they panicked. Essentially, we're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And it's like, well, you had a big surge with the pandemic that you're not going to have now, and
awesome.
so they're actually like fairly on track, but they did lose 2 million subscribers last month, which wasn't brought up right then, or
with
not
the
last
price
month.
increase, which is
And that is the I think it's two things. I think you're right. I think it's the price increase and the fact that there hasn't been a fucking thing on since Andor. So you went. I don't know what Disney was thinking, raising the price without dropping like Mandalorian season 3. If you raise the price to me from like, what was it, $8 to $12 roughly or something like that, and if you're gonna do like a huge price increase, but you're gonna give me fucking Baby Yoda, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, right? They didn't do that. So I think they will probably though end up looking good because Mando will come out. A lot of those people, some of those people will come back. The subscriber growth will then be positive. It'll be a gain. And then they'll be like, oh, look, they've done it again.
Also,
Mando
man,
saved the
not
day.
for nothing, but Iger's playing a little bit of trickery here because
Mm-hmm.
way back when he agreed to buy Fox IP for $70 billion fucking dollars, he said that he wanted that part of that was to be able to use that evergreen content for streaming.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. And then they never did it. They were like, no, we're too family friendly. We can't put it. Well, why'd you buy it? Why'd you buy it if all that shit ain't on there? It's the dumbest fuck. That was the time to put that stuff on there and then make a kids only and then a family, fucking log in like every other streaming service. Every other streaming service I have has, and then populate it with fucking, oh shit, we're doing an Aliens night and James Cameron's gonna fucking do a Aliens fucking Shataboo with the fucking show or some shit to promote Avatar 2, Like, there's all sorts of shit they could be doing with what they already bought. But then they're like, we don't know what to do with it. Maybe we'll sell it. Fucking no, man, dude. It's, it's just stupid. It's just, there's easy shit they could be doing that they're not. Before we get to the more complicated stuff,
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, as it true brings up, they lost subs due to losing cricket in India, as well as more than anything else. And
Indiana.
then he says
Cricket's big in Indiana.
crickets in India. Sports people in capes, basically people like sports more than people in capes and laser swords, which
No doubt.
I hate to admit it, but it's true. And
true.
it's not that different. They both paint
Which
their
is-
faces blue and look like idiots all the time.
Avatar fans don't riot when their movie doesn't do well, though one hasn't not done well yet. But statistically, it can happen.
Once we get to like the fourth or fifth one of these things, it's likely that could happen. Start to happen.
I honestly, man, the day we've not even seen Marvel fans riot. Like, if anyone's gonna riot, it's probably the Snyder Bros. But whatever. I
got a message. I didn't get to follow up with them because I was taking a little nap before the show. I needed a power nap, and he said Ant-Man 2 or Ant-Man 3 has 58%.
Still higher than Man of Steel.
So that's that's not good though. I mean, I wasn't sold on it though. I don't like the Ant-Man movies. I know people like them.
No, I didn't like them.
I'm not a big fan of him. I like Paul Rudd, it's like it should be a thing I like, but I never have. And when I saw the extended trailer for that one at Disney, what was it called? D23, I was like, this looks kind of dumb to me. And everyone's like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And I wasn't.
A couple things of that. So one, it is funny to me for years, and I love Patrick Willems. He's a movie he's not a critic. He's like he gets in depth in the films, right? He's super good. But he kind of started that whole all the Marvel movies look the same. They all look washed out and they're on a tarmac. And why isn't there any more color? And why isn't there any more directors' voices like Sam Raimi? And I believe they listened to Patrick Willems. And now you got these movies that are filled with color, and Sam Raimi directed one, and everyone's all mad that they don't look like the fucking Marvel movies they know. Seriously, dude.
Yeah,
seriously.
How they look is.
But that was a giant complaint, and I'm telling you, they listened to it.
To the Snyder films, like I don't.
I like the way they look. I'm just telling you what fans complain about. All right.
Yeah. It's like the Zack Snyder films are very dramatic, like the Batman, Superman color grade and stuff like that is way more
Larry
noticeable.
Fong. Yeah, Larry Fong also did Watchmen. He has a lot of cool shit, dude. I wish he did some Star Wars. I like his DP work. But the other thing I would say, like my 2 cents on this one, man, is like I'm not a fan of the director Peyton Reed. I didn't think he directed that last episode of Star Wars very well, Mando. Even though Luke showed up and did a really cool fight scene, a lot of people were involved in that. The rest of the episode wasn't very well directed. Kind of corny. Look at the shots with the Death Trooper robots from Dark Forces or whatever, and Giancarlo Esposito. It wasn't working very well, Even like when the X-Wing shows, it just kind of flies by a window. You're like, wow, look at that. I'm not a fan of his directions.
Which to roll it back though, he may not have directed any of that. That may have all been done by ILM with other
but I'm talking about the performances from a lot of other. He's not the strongest. I'm not saying he's the worst. He's just not my favorite. And And so what I was going to say was, way back when Ant-Man was originally what's the director? Shaun of the Dead. Brain farting. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, that director.
Mhm.
Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright was originally supposed to do Ant-Man before there was an MCU. Like, it was going to be its own little standalone film. And they had put out like this concept teaser, right? And it was like hella fucking cool. It was like the way which Edgar Wright, Ant-Man needs someone with Edgar Wright's like talent behind it. Like, it should be Mission Impossible meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with heists and scaling things up and down. And when it started out sort of that way, but by the second one, it just turned into like goofs, jokes, jokey jokes, like, and not the great ones. Although the second one wasn't enjoying it until the very end when they dusted everyone and this kid in the theater started crying. And I was like, well, you win. Bravo. Love it. But that's the thing. So, that all being said, man, I wish you could figure out, because I had to hear dudes tell me how great Black Adam was, and they had like a 30 something. I don't fucking know, man, with the tomato meters,
Mhm.
So if it's fun, it's fun. If it's not, it's not. I really don't pay attention. I don't care what, like, honestly, can you think of one time you were like, oh, that review got me to go see a movie, like the number score, or did the thing that you were looking at, the trailers affect you, I think, more than anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I made up my mind I'm not going to go see it just based off of the D23 stuff. And Planet Fitness says, I have a feeling that Disney is panicking at this point, especially with how bad the Ant-Man reviews are. And that's the question is, do the reviews affect the box office performance of it at all? I mean, it's like people either want to go to the movies or they don't. And that's the superhero genre is one of those things that people just kind of turn out to see sometimes. I don't have a prediction though about how it will do, for the record. I
have a prediction, and the prediction is, if their current slate of films don't do what they were internally tracking them to do, you're going to see the X-Men appear much sooner than later. Mm-hmm. Because what the whole thing is, I like that when the Avengers ended, they kind of did a spattering of different things. I enjoy it, but audiences are pretty vocal in that they like to follow a certain group. They like to have an Avengers or a group, and they need a group to follow. And I'm going to tell you, they haven't had a clear group. The Eternals ain't cutting that. That ain't cutting it. So they're going to need to pull out something people can fucking track and follow and get behind.
Well, that's how I felt when I was watching the fucking Echo stuff. I'm like, we're really doing this? Like, when, like, I would rather be watching like a Jubilee TV show or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's like all of these like really interesting characters that they haven't touched in forever.
I know, but you don't know that character, and there's a really good Daredevil bit that Quesada did after the Kevin Smith stuff. I think Kevin might have wrote it. Yeah. He also did with David Mack, and the colorist was brilliant on that. Because she's tied to Kingpin, and you the way they use color to depict her ability to hear sound, echolocation, all fucking brilliant. But like, that character wasn't given that in the series. Mm-hmm. So like, again, a lot of the series, I'm like, these series ain't cutting it at 6 episodes. You need 12 and less difference. Do half the series and double the episodes and actually give characters real bits. And by the way, hate to say this, work on your fights. The fights in the Marvel movies for a while, and then the TV shows, not that great. They need to step up their fight game. That for real.
I haven't like honestly, I know I'm like, grandpa yelling at the clouds from The Simpsons about it, but like, when there was that elevator fight in Winter Soldier, that was maybe like the last time I was like super like fucking really pumped about an actual like action sequence fight.
And that's the guy who did the guy who did all the second unit work on Boba Fett episode 2 with the train sequence. Yeah. And so like, same dude who put that together. So like,
well, good work, dude.
I'm just saying. I had that brought up on like the hot mic with Snyder and Roca. Like, I brought that one up about their fights, and their take was like, Marvel, I don't really memorize any of their fights. I'm not really known for that. And I'm like, get known for it. Seriously, you get the fucking raid dudes
Whoa.
in there, and you start getting people going. These fucking fights and these Keanu saved his whole career because of that. I'm telling you, you got superheroes working a badass fight in every film. You know,
Yeah,
the
well,
Daredevil series, the hallway sequence that started with season 1. I mean, come on, man. Like,
yeah, when it comes to like Disney and Star Wars, if anything is lacking,
the fights.
I don't feel bad for them because they have every fucking resource and opportunity in the world
Right.
to do anything.
No excuses.
Yeah, pretty much no excuses.
Same with Marvel. There's no excuses.
I mean, the only thing that's like working against is time. You know, you have to do this project in X amount of time. That's really probably what they are mostly up against, and so
and it's
I
not
think
the
they
violence. You don't need to do the blood to get it done. You can be pretty creative. You know.
yeah,
But I thought even if you take the violence out of it, the fights in Peacemaker were better than anything I've seen from Marvel in a while.
yeah.
You know, seriously.
I didn't actually watch Peacemaker, but I've seen parts of Peacemaker.
Oh, watch it, dude, all the way through. You got to.
Yeah,
Seriously, watch all the way
it's
through.
Cool.
Man.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to. I just haven't
Worth
gotten
it.
around to it.
Ah, so worth it. Yeah. Anyways,
Man.
but back to Star Wars, man. Like I told you, I'm not a big Peyton Reed fan, you know. And I'm glad he has nothing to do with the Fantastic Four. I know he was circling that for the longest time. So
Surprised he's a filmmaker. That is a football player's name, isn't it? Peyton Reed, touchdown. Every time I hear it, I think I'm like talking about a football player or something.
Peyton Manning. Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Captain America.
Yeah. I don't know which one's which now. And then
one looks like Bigfoot and the other one directs Marvel movies.
I was telling you the other day, I watched like the Yellowstone content like pretty much backwards. I started the new one with Harrison Ford, which is 1923, and it's really fucking good. Like I love it, and it has like this like adventure Indiana Jones B story that's just fucking fantastic. So then I went and watched 1883, and didn't like it as much, but I liked it quite a bit. It's pretty good. It's like on the Oregon Trail. It's a lot like the video game, except for not us at the computer in 6th grade or something.
Yeah, but the 20s and 30s are the pulp era, so we're pulpy dudes.
For sure.
I really wish when they reboot DC, they would have just done it in the 30s. You know, I would kill to see a Batman series just take place.
Superman, Depression era Superman makes sense.
Did you ever see the book It's Superman?
Mm-mm.
It's like a realistic. It was just a book, a one shot set during the Dust Bowls, and it was written fairly realistic, but with him there and Luthor building robots, but him like just traveling throughout the Dust Bowl Depression era. He becomes a stuntman. That's how he gets his costume and stuff, but pretty good. Deals with actual real racial shit. Like quite a good book. But you were saying you enjoyed 1923, but not 18.
Yeah, and no, I did enjoy. I enjoyed both of the spinoffs.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm watching Yellowstone, and fucking season 1 of that show, it sucks donkey dick. It's fucking terrible. So I don't know when Yellowstone gets good, if ever, but the spinoffs are fucking rad, and Yellowstone sucks. But I actually think that they should. I know that guy's pretty much in that Paramount wheelhouse, but that guy does pulp really good. They should get him on. They should get him on a Star Wars thing.
Everyone's on Tyler Sheridan fucking kick right now. He's good. I would say this though, to kind of play against your take on that sounds to me like they're making 3 different series. Even though they're all tied, they're not doing the same thing over and over again. Like a CSI, they're all the same fucking show. And I like Star Wars. You do want a different take each one. Some people aren't going to like all of them,
Yeah, it feels like the spin-off shows are like golden age of television, HBO. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it right. Let's tell an emotional story that's cinematic and good the whole way through. Whereas Yellowstone feels like it's meant to convince guys with truck nuts on their trucks that that fucking, Yellowstone.
I don't have it, but I like to put them on trucks. I just carry some truck nuts around with me and put them on trucks when they don't have them.
I gotta say, too, that show though, it knows how to cast a hot lady. It knows how to cast a hot lady. It does a good job with that. All right, let's look back at the old.
All right, Iger, come on.
All right, look at Iger. He's falling asleep over here. Iger, wake up!
He's trying to cover for Chapek.
He's all right. Here we go.
we also said at the time we'd be profitable in 5 years, which coincidentally is the end of 2024. We reiterated that yesterday on the call. So now, as we've looked to basically becoming profitable and figured out how do we do that, it's clear to us that we do have to continue to grow subs, but it's not just about that. We have to have the right pricing. I talked yesterday about promotion. We have to have the right marketing. We have to have the right content. And if you go back to the structure that we put in place, which is a direct linkage between the creative side and the distribution side, there is a greater likelihood that we will have the right content. They'll make choices because they're accountable for delivering that profitability.
Hit pause.
So yeah.
So you know what he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
That the creative decisions on Disney Plus weren't being made by creatives.
JPEG took that away from them and made them in a way less responsible for their own success. Whereas, so whenever you hear those people on YouTube going, Kathy Kennedy is getting fired because this didn't happen and that didn't happen. Well, under JPEG, it wasn't even going to happen. That wasn't going to happen.
That's exactly what they sound like.
But essentially, this is what he's saying. You know, if Ant-Man doesn't make money 3 times in a row, then they're not going to be making any more Ant-Mans.
Go on, Peyton. You're going to be directing Shazam 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a big stretch, by the way. No.
Not really. You know. But I mean, I think that's completely fair though, because like when you're at the Disney level, you're making pop. If it was music, you're making pop music. You're not doing indie films. You're not doing indie music. You're doing straight up fucking like popcorn movie for a pop audience that needs to like deliver on a mass scale. And if you aren't able to work in that system correctly, then it's just not for you, and then you should be in a different one. You should be making movies on Shudder or wherever you fucking fit.
Hey,
that's not a knock. I prefer my Shudder account more than my Disney Plus account. That's a fucking fact, Jack. It's true.
I don't know, man. I get to watch The Kid with the Electric Sneakers on Disney Plus. They don't have that on Shudder.
Bestman says, need Peyton to return to directing the Bring It On movies.
Yeah, keep them all the same age, too. I mean, just bring the same actors back in their 50s.
Was that like the cheerleading movies from like the year 2000?
Yeah. My buddy made me sit down at his house in 2003. I don't want to watch.
Oh, I'm sure he made you, Rob.
I don't want to watch. Bro, it ain't me. I'll watch porn if I want to watch porn. I'm not up for this fucking bullshit.
Hey, you know what? It's
don't care. I don't like dancing, man. I'm not like I couldn't get through 3 minutes of fucking Spielberg's West Side Story. I like 80s dancing because it's horrifically bad.
You like Electric Boogaloo then?
Soul Train is the only thing I could ever watch. Soul Train, even as a kid, I can watch Soul Train.
You liked when Paula Abdul danced with MC Scat Cat. You liked when MC Hammer.
My animation teacher animated that.
You liked
Jerry Bryce.
You liked when Vanilla Ice sang "Go Ninja Go."
No, I didn't like that. I wanted to walk out. My mom wouldn't let me walk out of the drive-in because she had to drive.
No, you were like, "Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go,
don't
Go
like
Ninja, Go Ninja, Go."
Nope.
And then you got embarrassed by it when everybody in the theater was pointing at you.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
I still believe.
You know me. I'll admit some stupid shit, but that ain't my stupid shit. I'll say this though, dude. Like, we're in a real spoiled time for entertainment. You could complain about whether you're interested in something now or you don't like it or you hate it, whatever. But let's go back to the mid-90s when we were stuck with the fucking Shadow as a summer tentpole film, you know? Yeah. And I tried, man. I was like, the 1930s, it'll be cool. It wasn't cool. I tried so hard with that film. You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how, I mean, like for me, the 90s, you come in with this just, really depressing music era. That's actually really good, but really depressing. And then like the 80s were such an upswing for like fantasy film, like just film in general, like fun film. And then you get to the 90s and then like all of a sudden, like, Batman 89, I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, I just slowly, like, I'm like, everything is getting worse all the time.
Yeah, they thought, Batman's from the 30s, so we'll just make all these other fucking films from the 30s.
Yeah.
Like, that's smart. Fucking morons.
Yeah, they didn't do it right.
Yeah, wasn't good. I tried with Dick Tracy. I thought it looked cool. I still think that film looks cool. It's a fucking hard watch, man.
Yeah,
Super hard watch.
it was weird. I did enjoy Dick Tracy, but I also think that like I also knew like something was missing. Like something, you know what I mean? Like
You
it
know
was
when I figured it out?
Mhm.
And it was much later. It was much later. It was in, I didn't see Reservoir Dogs till after Pulp Fiction. I saw it
So like
in
95,
1990. No, man, I saw Reservoir Dogs in 98.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I bought it. A buddy had told me it was great. And so I bought a widescreen copy in Missoula, Montana when I was traveling, watched it on the
Yeah.
road. And when I saw Reservoir Dogs, I'm like, that's what Dick Tracy's missing. This. You know? Mr. Pink, Mr. White, these all could have been Dick Tracy villains and shit, you know? Like,
I got Nirvana's in utero, and on the inside it thanked Quentin Tarantino, which is so fucking weird. Yeah, it was weird, but they like thanked him in there. And I was in the record shop talking to a guy, and he's like, "Yeah, he's got this movie called Reservoir Dogs," and he's like, "You got to see it. You'll like it." And then I'm like, "Cool." And then I come back like 2 weeks later, and he's like, "I got a bootleg of Reservoir Dogs," and he's all, "I put it at the end of the tape that you ordered." I bought a Nirvana bootleg from Nirvana live in Ann Arbor, and at the end of it was a copy of Reservoir Dogs from a bootleg. It's a bootleg on a bootleg. So yeah, it's pretty good tape for $20 though, and that was the first time I saw it, was actually a bootleg tape.
but getting back to Disney Plus, dude, if I had a real critique just visually with their product, their fucking shows, they look less like HBO and look more like Lifetime Channel half the time.
Yeah,
You know, and that's a problem. They need, there are moments from the Marvel stuff that is very cinematic, like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's a couple that's straight out the movies, and then there's a lot of TV show looking shit, and so they need to step up the way their shows look. You know, they need to not film a desert in someone's backyard that clearly looks like it when they have a desert fucking 40 minutes away.
yeah.
Like, it's just shit like that, man. Like, they got to get their shit together, you know?
By the way, Jedi Mike says, when Shonen Knife opened for Nirvana on the Utero tour, Houston, Texas, when I wanted the Shonen Knife record and I never heard it, and then the guy's like, "Well, I don't have it," but and it gave me Chibomado, and it was this like Japanese girls, and they just think about music. They just think about food.
I know that one.
About food. It was cool. It was cool though. I was like, cool. I'm like, this makes me happy.
Good times.
Okay. Here we go. Back on the Iger. We can do this.
We got intoxicated.
Fucking Anakin. That's Anakin style, huh? He's like, all right, here we go.
Right. All understood. I want to actually ask a couple of questions specific to that you discussed yesterday. You said on the call you're going to lean into franchises.
So they're going to lean into franchises. So that is the big, that's our happy take right here.
Yeah. Versus unscripted content, you know?
Well, and also, I mean, he does mention like Disney, like their IP itself, but I'm like, I still think that means what we were talking about. I think it means like less Pinocchio, probably less shit, like maybe less National Geographic style shit. And like,
they need to be done with that live action fucking bullshit, you know? Like,
yeah.
Seriously.
It seems like if me and Besson were talking about this, it seems like the Zaslav thing, which is if something could go in the theater, it's going in the theater now, and basically like it sounds like all of these guys, all of these companies, if they have a film distribution side and a streaming side, they're going to swing big or they're not going to swing at all. They're either going to swing it for television itself from the very start, where it's like a series, or they're going to swing big for the theater.
Well, you're not going to see anything they're doing now for 2 years. Whatever he's talking about now, you ain't going to see this till 2025, the results of this stuff. It doesn't solve itself overnight, you know,
Sure.
Or even within 12 months. It takes a long time to write it. I mean, there's immediate things they can do to alleviate burden, like removing middle management, all that kind of shit. But
yeah,
you don't.
They fired a fuck ton of people too, from the parks and from
ridiculous. I know.
From the entertainment, or not the entertainment side, but the restructuring that Chapek put into place.
Yeah, and then they'll rehire later the same fucking. I don't agree with
probably.
it. I don't agree with it. I don't believe firing 7,000 people solves your problems at that fucking thing. Like there's other things they could be doing. And so again, optimization is always better than trimming levels. You want to optimize your game. Just cutting content doesn't make a game better. Think about it. You know, so especially if it's getting like fucking 15 frames per second. Well, if you have less levels, that'll solve the frame rate problem. No.
Yeah.
So, but I would just say like, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I'm brain farted. Fuck it, whatever.
It's
Fuck
okay.
it. Fuck me. Look, here's the thing though. If they fucking colossally fail, they'll eventually. Here's the thing, man. Like, shit's not going away overnight, right?
Yeah.
They could fail consistently for 10 fucking years and still pull out a win. So like,
yeah.
So like, it's not like Warner Brothers is like the worst studio to look at because they're Warner Brothers is very similar to like Kyoto, Japan, where they're stuck in like real tradition. Warner Brothers has always been, we're the actor studio, we're the big bro, we're the Warner Brothers, we're the Oscar people. They take a long time to move. These other studios move way faster, but they aren't gonna fucking like fail and be like, well, that's it, no more Star Wars, we're packing up. You know what I mean? Like we're out of here. Like we're like pulling the plug. We're out the business. It's not gonna happen.
What I was afraid of, and I'm still curious to see. I mean, it could still happen. I don't think it's happening, but it could still happen. Is what if they start, putting, let's say, 3 weeks in between shows, and then that means we would get less series throughout the year. Like I can envision a time when there's only 2 Star Wars shows per year, and then but it leaves a lot of open time in there, and when you get down to it. But I think we will still get our 3 to 4. But there was always a chance that we could get less per year under this restructuring. But with what he's saying, it doesn't make me think that's the case. But when we look at when we look at this year, we still have Mando, we still have Ahsoka, and then most likely we'll get Acolyte coming at the very tail end, trailing into 2024. Then we have Andor 2 and Skeleton Crew.
A streaming service can't survive on 2 IPs. I meant to say
Skeleton Crew would probably come.
They need to be developing creatively in a lot of different ways that go beyond just Star Wars and Marvel. Like if it's just going to be Star Wars and Marvel, they're fucked. There's beyond fatigue. Forget fatigue, but like there's just imagine if there was 2 Stranger Things series every year, you wouldn't give 2 shits after 2 years of it. So they need to make certain that they're putting out great shit, and then they need to populate in between with, first off, they need to be putting on fucking the stuff on Disney Plus, again, like I said, that they already own. The most watched shit on the internet is shit you've already watched. It's the evergreen content. It's the CSIs, the Star Treks, the fucking Friends, the Seinfelds. They got a shitload of that fucking content that aren't exclusive to other streaming services that they need to be fucking put on that series, that site.
Yeah, Iger has said that yet they're open to selling Hulu, and they couldn't really sell Hulu recently. They had to like keep it, but that deal is ending. I don't remember who the deal is with. I know Bespin knows, but so it makes me think that and Bespin says Iger did say they'd lean into Pixar, Avatar, Disney for streaming services, not just Star Wars and Marvel. Yeah, I know that, but I'm presenting it from.
We can do that. We keep putting Avatar on
Star Wars show.
Avatar isn't can't even get a series. It's not quite the same deal.
And Comcast NBC is who the deal with Hulu was, I guess. So
right, that's a way to take existing shows that are tied to like streaming like licensees or whatever, and then make money off them versus spending money on them. But that doesn't get you out of a $45 billion debt from buying Fox. Like, that helps, but that's not the thing that gets people all fucking. I'm so glad I got this. I can't live without it.
They're not $45 billion in debt, are they?
They're halfway through the $70 billion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's $45 billion in that debt right now. So, because I read a whole article where they're like, well, Avatar's not going to solve their problems for $45 billion. I'm like, no one fucking movie can. Like, what are you talking about? That's not.
Yeah,
that's not.
Yeah, you might make $1 billion. You might make $1 billion on a successful movie. So we're talking like 45 movies to get through that.
Yeah, you got 2 more fucking 20 years of Marvel to get through that shit. Like,
yeah.
But this is where I do think not having the Mando as a movie that builds you the. Here's the thing. I don't care that Mando goes to the movies at the end of the fucking day. What I'm trying to tell you is, and you understand this more than most, Jason.
No, I don't.
Streaming services merchandise doesn't sell at the same rate as movie merchandise sells, correct?
Right. Well, hold on. Hold on. Where'd it go?
The numbers, right? You get to sell a lot more of something when there's a movie versus a TV show. The numbers, Jace, purely.
Yeah.
Like, how do I explain this? A Batman TV show, the animated series figures don't sell as much as when the Batman Forever toys hit. That's just a fact. It doesn't. Yeah. I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about just because people fucking know when there's a movie and a $300 million movie campaign.
What you're saying is,
so apparently, Jason Ward is spreading the lie that Ray toys outsell Mandalorian.
Right. It's the craziest voice I've ever heard. It's not the same, but it's up there with Emo Phillips, and like I'm never gonna unhear it. Once you hear it, you're like, well, I'm stuck with that voice. That's his.
I wasn't even in that conversation, but yeah, the point is that they make a bajillion Ray toys. And they make 100,000 Mando.
Because there's $100 million marketing campaign for that movie. You know, like it's everywhere, blah, 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 blah.
Jason Ward is selling the lies.
What is unique about The Mandalorian? And I personally worked on name the fucking show between 2005 and 2015 that was a TV show. I've worked on that license, okay?
Yeah.
Only one, Jason, I've ever come across that fucking broke through. The closest would be South Park, but it took a lot of South Park to get there. And it's a cartoon, so it's a little different, a little easier to sell merchandise off a cartoon, believe it or not.
Sure.
But a live action series, that Grogu fucking broke through that defied all the fucking sales reps who ever told me, streaming shows or cable shows don't move merch. They just don't. You can sell a logo on a shirt or you can sell this, but they just don't. Even Stranger Things doesn't do as well as you. I mean, it does some stuff, but it doesn't really blah, 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 blah. But the fucking Grogu was just it's essentially a license to print fucking money. Like, seriously. And so that's where if you put the fucker in the goddamn theaters, like...
Jon Favreau addressed that this week.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
No, he's not.
Wrong. Yes, he's wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
He's wrong.
You don't know what he said.
Yeah, he's the guy who made the fucking Jungle Book and the fucking Lion King movies.
He said what he's doing right now is more than a full-time job. And he could not possibly do this job and do a film. He can't do it.
Quick, get Guy Ritchie to direct the fucking movie. I don't give a shit. Like, I didn't say he got to direct it.
What are you saying? What are you willing into the world right now?
Jon Favreau doesn't have to direct. Look, you think Jon Favreau would have directed a better Avengers film than Firefly dude, Joss Whedon at the time? No.
Yeah.
So, sorry, no.
Doesn't know how to direct. He doesn't. He doesn't know.
But he put together two complete Avengers films. I don't like the fucking dude, but those fucking films would not have worked with the Zach Penn, I don't give a shit.
Everybody only likes it because they go, it's the Hulk! It's the Captain America! It's the Black Widow!
See, again, you're talking about what you prefer. I'm not looking at what I prefer. I'm looking at a larger scope.
You're the one who goes to make fun of George Lucas's floaty Senate cam shit in Palpatine's office.
It's horrible. Yeah,
that's the only trick Joss Whedon has in those fucking movies.
It's not true.
Yes, it is true.
It's not true.
It looks like it's
There's no scene in one George Lucas Star Wars directed film like them getting drunk and trying to lift Thor's hammer. That's an iconic scene.
That's written. That's writing.
Joss Whedon wrote it.
I know. Writing and directing aren't the same
thing. George Lucas writes. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about direction. I'm not talking about
Favreau. I don't care if Favreau directs the fucking movie. Someone else can. There's plenty of talented people who can direct I'm
talking about directing.
Fumiya could have fucking directed the film for all I give a shit. Like,
it would have been better. It would have been much, much better. Joss Whedon, I think people like his writing.
Would not have been better. Go watch Iron Man 2. Get back to me. Like, no.
Iron Man 2 was made without a script. So that's
that's Favreau. Favreau loves making shit without scripts. Did you see Boba Fett season 2? Barely a script in it. Like
talking about writing. No, Iron Man
I'll put Favreau's Boba Fett 2 against anything Joss Whedon wrote any day of the week.
helmet cam, bro.
Any day of the week. It's iconic.
Helmet
It
cam.
worked.
You know what? Helmet cam is better than the fucking Thor trying to pick up a fucking hammer.
Well,
without getting Kinsey or
John
whatever.
Knoll, man, you always get him on your team. That's my advice.
No, but I'm talking about directing, and I'm not talking about writing. I'm talking about the actual visuals, the fact like the camera moves for no reason, the backgrounds are drab or stupid, they don't reflect the mood of the. There's all kinds of directing like faux pas the guy makes. There's probably about 300.
So he
video
doesn't need
essays
to
that are
direct the Mando movies. What I'm trying to tell you, he hasn't
Yeah.
directed the majority of the fucking Star Wars, the Mando episodes. Why does he need to direct the movie?
Yeah, but I think you're like, why would you let your baby go into somebody else?
He doesn't own it. It's not his baby. I'm sorry. When you're working on IP, you
nobody
don't own
owns
it.
it.
It's not your shit. That's the first thing you know. Period.
But if it was,
you need a win for the
if
fucking
Grogu's-
studio, bro. You need a win. The studio needs a win.
Jon Favreau doesn't work for the film studio. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he does. They're
No,
paying
no,
his bills. He doesn't. Well, he
no,
does this
no.
shit for free.
He's making stuff for Disney Plus. He's not worried about like
For Lucasfilm, who oversees the
Bob,
movies and
Bob,
the TV.
Bob, it works both ways. You know what would fucking save Disney Star Wars cartoons right now? If they put Grogu in it. Grogu saves everything.
It's
But
different.
that's
I'm
not
talking
Jon-
about
that's not-
actual
that's not
merchandise
Jon
that will
Favreau's job.
fucking change. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But Jon Favreau's not making Star Wars movies for them. So he doesn't care. And he's saying, but what he's saying is he has a full-time job right now. So the only way that he could do a Star Wars film is if he leaves that job, which at some point he probably will. And
He
then
didn't need
that's
to
when-
do the Boba Fett shit. That's for certain. He didn't bring anything to that.
He is running
Could've
all
freed
of
up some
these
time.
shows though. He's running all of these shows. No, but that's the thing. Is
All right.
he's working on Skeleton Crew. He's working on Mando 3. He's working on Ahsoka. Like he's not
He could do less.
directing them.
It's a little much.
I think we're diminishing his actual work in making these productions. Actually,
No,
like,
I love Zathura. Like,
I honestly, no, I'm not talking about Zathura. I'm talking about the Star Wars productions, what he's doing on television right now.
all right.
I honestly, I don't think Mando 3 or Skeleton Crew would have finished if it wasn't for the fact that Jon Favreau is there, just based off of what we heard. So I think we do need him doing that job that he's doing, or this.
Well, that's a
shit-
bigger indictment, and you know I'm a fan of her, but that's a bigger indictment on Kathleen Kennedy, like because she's the one running the studio. So if you don't have enough people to fucking like run
Well,
shit, what are you doing? Like they don't have any excuses. They got all the money, and not forget the money.
Kathleen
They
Kennedy
have
put him there. So that's what, and it's
Right.
happening. So I'm saying you can't put it on. If it didn't happen, it would be on Kathleen Kennedy ultimately, right? It goes up, but it did happen. It did get done. And it got done because Jon Favreau, who was put there by Kathleen Kennedy.
I mean, they could have teamed up with Guillermo del Toro. They could team up with anyone to do a Mando movie, bro. Like, just like they team up with a bunch of directors to direct the Mando episodes. So,
Look. I'm not making an argument that somebody couldn't make our Grogu Mando movie. I'm not making that argument. But I do think if he was anybody's like, if anybody is in charge of Grogu and his story, it's Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau.
yeah, so sit
created
him in
it.
on the writer's room.
Jon-
I mean, he's got to eat breakfast sometime. Just sit him in there while he's eating his bowl of
But
fucking
you're making it
grub.
seem like he's like, you know what? All I care about is Disney's bottom line, not about what I want to do. And that's not true. As a
when you're at
creative-
a hiring level, you got to keep both cards in check. You want to keep working on this shit, give the company a win, dude.
Yeah, but you're making it seem like they've been putting out Star Wars movies and they've all been failing.
No, I've not said that. I've not said that at all.
But what's going to happen?
But they don't know where to go after the sequel trilogy, so they're trying to shoot whatever they're fucking doing. This was
No.
the easy win. This was an
No.
easy win. Easy.
No, you're saying that, but that's not the reality.
Yeah, that's
They have
the
a whole
reality.
series of movies that are being written right now. Everybody's
Yeah,
only
they got to
talking
start
about-
over, get everyone on board. They got to learn what it is. It's an uphill battle. I'm telling you. I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I'm saying start with the easy win that produces easy toys.
That quick and easy path is the fucking path to the DC universe, friend.
No, it's not. It's not even the same thing. No, DC Universe had a Grogu fucking win like that, bro. Nobody. I haven't seen anything like it since Tickle Me Elmo. Closest thing might be Pokemon, but that movie didn't do shit either. So,
Yeah, it's not going. He's not going.
but they didn't make a Pokemon movie. If you make Detective Grogu, no one's gonna watch that shit. All right,
Yeah.
make a fucking actual movie.
But if the next film comes out and it's a complete bomb and flops and it's boring and it sucks and doesn't make any money, then you're 100% right. But
I prefer to be right and not lose the money. I don't like to react. I don't like to go, hey, let's go all lose first and see if Rob's right. I prefer to have a win and
right.
But
we don't know what they have planned for that next movie. I'm just saying, like there might be something fucking better than Grogu down
the theaters. Giant Mandalorian battles with fucking cool helmets, check. Space battles with cool fucking warriors and helmets, check. Jedi Grogu shit with the fucking CGI Luke Skywalker, people are gonna want to see, check. Bro, it's just not hard, dude.
Rob,
don't get in the way of it.
Rob, you haven't sold me on one thing I don't already have.
Cinematically, you don't have that. You have
Barely.
the cheap TV version. You don't have the cinematic version.
Yeah, but it's like
big difference.
I would need, yeah, it's like I need something that makes me go like, yeah, that needs to happen there. I don't know. But
big difference. Big difference between seeing Moon Knight the show and a Moon Knight the movie. Trust me.
Well, I get that. I mean, I understand like how big the battles would be if it wasn't in the fucking theater. Like I could see that. But Bestman Bulletin,
but they're not doing it, so it doesn't matter. They're doing the hard path. Though.
But when they go and then they make this next movie, there's going to be something that is equivalent, they think, to that. And then so if that delivers, if the next movie delivers, then all is right. We got our cake and we got to eat it too.
Sure, but we could have had this coming out this year. Now we got to wait another 2 or 3 years. So
I don't think
so. It's a waiting game. They could have skipped Mando season 3, got right to the movie.
No.
Like Fumiiwa, he's available. He'll do it.
If they were to do that, that movie would have still been the 2025 movie.
So a year from now would have been great.
You know, it would still, yeah. But there's going to be a movie.
People would have blown their fucking minds being able to go to the theater to see Grogu.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they're not doing it.
I'll be honest. Like I watched the like trailers for Mando right now, and I'm excited for the show, but I'm also like. I'm a little bit like, you know, not saying like over it, like I'm sick of it or something like that. Like the trailers aren't really showing very much to get excited for, but I'm just like, yeah, okay, let's do this. But I'm not like, I kind of know what I'm gonna get, I think.
Because if it was a theatrical trailer with and fucking Mando and then fucking Jedi Mando fighting Jedi shit, you'd be flipping your fucking mind, dude.
You're never gonna hear that fucking song again. That's my prediction.
Oh, you're going to hear that the very next film.
I don't think so.
100%.
We didn't get it on. We didn't get it.
Write this one down, folks. Write this one down. Jason thinks I've never used the Star Wars. You're out your fucking mind, dude. The minute you go to the theaters,
any Star Wars TV show, I think that's the Skywalker theme.
Yeah, you're going to hear it in the movies. So.
Yeah, I mean,
yep.
I'm not against it. I just don't think we're gonna get it. But we'll see. Like I said, Kenobi was gonna have an opening crawl. And so that means that Kenobi would have had it, but that was planned to be a trilogy. This next one is planned to be at least a trilogy. They hope. Yeah, it's going to be at least 2 films, but it's probably they're hoping for a trilogy and probably more. So maybe that is the angle that we get it. Is the fact that it like the opening crawl says what happened before and what's happening next. You know that you're about to watch. So that is our chance for it, but. I don't know, man. Bestman Bulletin says lots of skeleton crew issues stem from Chapek's hires. Right. Disney people, right? Right, Mr. Bulletin? Disney people. There were Disney people around, and that wasn't good. What happens to Ryan's trilogy? I don't know. Probably never gonna make this shit.
He's been made it's called Porg Face. He's doing Porg Face.
Yeah, well, obviously, that's like what Dell says. Ryan is busy. He has like right now.
He's still got another movie to do too. Like
he's
a series. He's got Poker Face out now, which is done. But he's got Knives Out 3 and that series with Joseph Gordon-Levitt that's like Columbo or something.
So yeah, it's the guy has like a lot going on.
That might be for Apple. I can't remember.
Is it Apple?
It's something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then Tyrant says clearly levels of influence with the direction of an IP, even with corporate structure like Disney. Sure.
Yeah, but they own everything, bro. It's all work for hire. Ryan Johnson doesn't own Rose, and J.J. Abrams doesn't own Ray and Finn or BB-8. So that's it.
Right.
That's how it works.
So, all right. Let's see what else Iggy Pop is saying over here. Iggy Egger.
You've been too aggressive in promotion. What does that mean?
Well, we're sitting in front of this
Yeah.
lovely poster. This company possesses and has made some of the all-time great franchises. The 5
Buddy, you bought all-time great friends. You didn't make a fucking thing, homie.
highest-grossing movies of all time came from this company.
Nope. Your company bought those things. It didn't come from you at all.
2 of them, by the way, from Jim Cameron, Avatar, and obviously Marvel has contributed to that as well. These are stories, I guess you'd call them, that are very valuable globally, that are leverageable across multiple businesses of ours.
So it's talking about how they could do films, TV, shirts, toys.
Yeah, Mighty Ducks doesn't sell at Disney China, Shanghai Disney, right? Like,
well, and to be fair, the Dr. Mighty Ducks doesn't want the China virus.
That have a long life. They Avatar 1 was just on Disney Plus, did extremely well. You look at the movies that we made years ago.
Yeah, how about you put in 3D?
You made
what?
20. This is classic CEO gaslighting, dude. It's hilarious.
They're still performing extremely well on new platforms because there's we say they're evergreen in some form, but because of the audiences that we make them for, and that audience is constantly being regenerated, literally new generations.
But do you pull away from general entertainment though, under this new guise where you're trying to obviously save some money?
Look, I like general entertainment in the sense that there's a lot of quality there, and in fact, we make a lot. The Bear is a great example of that, or Old Man. What FX makes for us, what Searchlight makes for us, you just look at the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
We want to curate that more aggressively. When I say that, that's primarily because in order for us to be more profitable as a company in this business, we have to reduce our expenses. We talked about that yesterday. In order to do that.
So what he's kind of promising though is that Star Wars and Marvel and Pixar and stuff like that won't be hurt. But it's like, so what are you actually losing? Like, say it.
That you have to make some choices. I happen to believe because general entertainment is not as differentiated. And look, there are 7 or 8 platforms in the streaming business alone that are in general entertainment. That's a tough business to be in competitively, and it's not our strongest suit.
But do you worry about churn going up as a result of not providing perhaps this broad an array of programming?
He's all, I do a lot of business stuff, and I know if you say churn, people think you know what you're talking about.
But he's saying exactly what I said, that you can't live off Marvel and Star Wars on streaming every year. Like, what else are you bringing in? Like,
on the
but that's where that legacy shit they bought comes in. Like, populate all the fucking the real evergreen shit on there. I don't know, man. Like, it's a neat, and they don't make cartoons anymore for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, why don't they just make more DuckTales, Darkwing Ducks and shit? Like, fucking idiots.
There's a way to balance that. We're going to lean even more into Disney and Marvel and Pixar and Star Wars and Avatar, of course. And we've had higher returns on those businesses over the years. Anyway, so that makes a lot of sense.
So you hear what he said? We had higher returns on those, so it makes sense. So he's essentially saying your Star Wars, your Marvel, your Avatar stuff, all of that brings in returns, so they're going to continue to like do that. So I think though Disney Plus as an ecosystem is different than certain aspects of other parts of Disney, like the parks and stuff like that. And so he's specifically talking about film and Disney Plus right now. But when he's talking about Avatar, he's just talking about theatrical films, right? This isn't like
there's no Avatar series. It's too complex.
Remember, there was that rumor that they might do the long cut as a series for the next Avatar, as a Disney Plus series that was like being floated, where he was trying to get that.
They don't own the IP Avatar. They don't own that. They've licensed that, so they may have first look at the films. But if he'd have to sign. Cameron could bow out of that. He owns it at the end of the day. So that's not ever gonna happen. So,
but he's always gonna need Disney probably for the money and the
no. I mean, right? He could get a competitive offer from Sony. I guarantee Tom Rothman used to run Fox, so he has a friendship with Tom Rothman. Tom Rothman paid top dollar for fucking Tarantino to get Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I have and they desperately need a real fucking like series in the movie theaters because their Uncharted and fucking Morbius films ain't doing it. So if I had to guess, if this went south, Sony would pick that one up.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would imagine with whatever deal they made, Disney has a lot of like right of refusal, right?
Yeah, they have right of refusal
like that.
But they'd have to refuse it, or we want to put it on streaming, and then could sue them for. I mean, there's all sorts of breach of blah 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 blah.
Because there was that quote from Cameron where he was like basically insinuating he was going to try to get them to do the visual effects on his 9-hour cut. And we were like, we doubt they will, especially with the current
I was a
climate.
rumor. I don't know about all that.
Yeah. It sounded like I saw a quote from him that sounded like he was sort of insinuating there was some truth to that. But I don't know. I don't follow it close enough to, so maybe
I know how they're made, and it's just they're gonna make to get 3 hours of content out and rendered at the resolutions they're doing plus variable frame rate. I'll be surprised. It's shocking how they're gonna pull it off for 2025.
Easy, dude. Easy. All you do is just like let a scene, and you're like the cats walk in and they're mad. You go.
Mid-Journey will just render it all out. It's super easy.
and then they go, oh, I'm sorry. They go, I'm sorry. I see you. But Plausible Nine says, for instance, Amazon did Rings of Power to bring in new subs and make money from the subs. They felt they could make more from them than a new set of movies. I think that is not unlike what Disney Plus was doing initially with Mando, where they invested a huge amount of money into the streaming platform itself, because carving out your market share and owning that is worth like a loss up front. Like getting that many subs up front is totally worth it. But then there comes a point where when you plateau, where then you need to move away from that model, and things need to actually like just be about profit. That's where Disney kind of got ahead of itself in that way because of the pandemic. With their projections, they got too many subs too quickly, and then now they're starting to fall off. But they're like, hey, we said by 2025 would be in this space, so give us until 2025. And I think I don't follow the Amazon stuff that closely, but I remember there was sort of like people like, what are you doing with this? And then they were like, well, we're investing in our platform.
Amazon's able to promote though in ways that Disney can't. I mean, anytime you get something from Amazon, Rings of Power is all over the fucking packaging. Like it's literally on the tape to cut open your box. Disney can't compete with it. You know what I mean? Like you're not buying shit from Disney every month and then it arrives at your doorstep and there's a big fucking picture of the Mighty Ducks 7000 on that fucking thing, like, so it's very different. Amazon's in such a weird, I try to just, whatever Amazon's doing, I just wouldn't even look to that. That's a completely different scenario.
Yeah. And to go back to the Hulu thing, I wish they would sell Hulu. I wish they would migrate the content over to Disney Plus. Like when Bespin shows me what he has on his Disney Plus, I'm like, wow, this makes way more fucking sense than what I'm paying $12 for.
Yeah, they have they have the content I told you about, the actual fucking movies, the diehards and all that shit on it. What is going on? It's fucking weird, dude. It's so weird. That's the whole reason you bought all that shit, to put the Family Guys and all the fucking cartoons and show all the Fox TV content, the Ally McBeals and shit on there. That fucking women. I remember I would watch the Ally McBeal. Oh, we could do Ally McBeal fucking reunion. It's not my fucking thing, but people gotta understand, like, the shit that sells the most is comfort food. Right. Comfort food, shit you already know, So like, and that just willfully ignore that to generate new content as fast as possible is fucking. It's ass backwards. Yeah. It's stupid. It's a dumb move. Like
Brett says, Lucas is scared of making movies. Brett, they're making right now. There's like 4 Star Wars movies.
No, I'm not afraid. I'm making them right now.
George,
no, I'm making them.
Not you, Lucasfilm. He wants Lucasfilm. He just didn't write it out. Nobody's talking about you, dude.
I thought he was talking shit.
No.
Okay. I'm working.
Stop getting in his face.
I'm being very experimental.
His name is Marquand with the T, not Richard Marquand, your slave.
I thought it was Marquand. Well, I can't say that word.
No, different person. No, he doesn't have to do what you say. You don't own him.
Yeah. Oh, I don't?
No, different guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get back to my films. All right.
All right.
Peace.
Bye,
All right.
dude. God, we all know what that means. It means he's going to go watch porn again. But anyways, so Lucasfilm is not scared of making movies at all. There's actually, you're in about 2 years going to be saying they need to stop making movies. There's too much. Can I have a break? Can we put the brakes on this? And then now they want to cut TV shows, and that's exactly what we're literally saying that they're not doing. It's what I've been afraid, and I still am a little bit afraid that could happen. But that's not what he's saying. He's literally saying,
making nothing's not going to bring people to your platform. It's not a good move. Like,
right. No, he's literally saying we're leaning into the things like Marvel, Star Wars, and Avatar. They're not pulling out of it. It probably means, like we were saying before, it means less shit like one-off films on Disney Plus, like that stupid Pinocchio movie. It's either going to be a good enough movie that's going to come out in the theater, or it's not going to be made at all.
Or put real money behind Hocus Pocus too, and put it out in the theaters. You know, like it's not my thing, but there's a giant audience for that sort of shit. You know, and like that's something that they could have put. Let's say they spent $50 million on Disney Plus for that thing because it's super cheap. Let's say they put 80, 90 million behind it, right? That thing could have done 400 or 500 million at the box office. You know,
right?
And sold a shitload of Hocus Pocus fucking shirts at Topic. Like,
yeah. Fucking idiots, but take their money.
Hey man, hey, look,
money.
I appreciate everyone has their fandom, dude. You know, like, so
yeah. I just I hate nostalgia. I really, really, truly do.
The guy with the Willow poster sitting behind his bed every night.
No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite of that. If that was all it took, I would have enjoyed Willow. If all it took,
well, you still have to make good content. Don't just put a fucking brand out there and be like, "We're making more fucking this." Eat it. Like, I'm not saying that.
But I don't like you know. It's like there's plenty of movies. I'm not calling for the fucking Purple People Eater to get a fucking sequel.
Let me give you a T-shirt
because I liked the movie when I was 7. You know what I mean?
Let me give you a T-shirt analogy, right? And this, I was just talking to my old art director, and nothing's changed. So this, because I'm always wondering, am I wrong? Am I telling you about things that existed 10 years ago, but it's not true now? So I re-upped. We had a refresher. Where's the current state of merchandise and licenses right now? And nothing's changed. So here's the thing: when you have a T-shirt company, right, and you got like, oh, we got Marvel, we got the big guns, right? The shit you know, right? Nintendo, Marvel, they have to spend a certain amount of money per shirt when you figure not just the cost of the goods and shipping, but licensors' fees. Okay, so maybe that shirt cost you $10 per shirt. That means you got to sell it for $20, whatever. But if you're selling those shirts at Cracker Barrel, who pays you $2.50, you're losing money. Now you got all these other licenses that you got dirt cheap that don't require, a lot of them don't require any license fees because no one remembers them, right? Or they're just considered evergreen and not trendy or popular. But you got Snoopy's, you got shit like Mountain Dew, or you got shit like Kingsford Charcoal Grill or something like that. And then, or Curious George. You go, well, who cares about Curious George? But if you make a T-shirt like my art director did a while back, where he put Curious George on a shirt on yellow and just put like Lazy Days or some shit like that, like Dad Day, Every Day's a Rest Day or some shit. Then you can take something that costs you no money and then turn that into
get
money.
A package off my doorstep that's really expensive. Right. So continue on. I'll be right back. Sorry.
So then you're able to take something that you're not spending any money on and then make money off it. So maybe then it costs you $2 to make a shirt, but Walmart's paying $10. Now you're making $8 a shirt. And so you have to diversify your licenses this way. And you have to bring creative people to say, okay, what do we have that we already own that's not costing us fucking a lot of money, right? We don't have to spend $100 million on it to promote it, but there are people who care about it. Like we can get some real traction with it. And so like, this is something that any one of you out there, whenever you're trying to conjure up like an idea or you're working on fan art or something, find something that isn't the fucking A-lister. That isn't the most popular thing, and then make it a little bit more popular. Because if they already know about it, if the fans already know about this stuff, then you are already way ahead of the curve. You don't have to fucking like invent something new. And so like that's something that Katzenberg wrote a famous memo about. The movie Jerry Maguire is about Jeffrey Katzenberg at the end of the day. It's a true story. Jeffrey Katzenberg wrote a studio-wide memo at Disney when they had spent, I'd say $100 million, some crazy amount of money on Dick Tracy, right? And it did not bring in the fucking money that year. It cost them money. But you know what brought in the money? Pretty Woman, right? shit like that. And so he called them doubles and singles. And that's just developing things that cost less money that have a higher profit margin, right? And so in this case, maybe they don't have to do it brand new, but shit like leveraging IP that you now already bought, it's sitting there, and not making really cool creative content and then getting behind it in a way that, I mean, it's just sitting there and they're not doing anything with it. It's the fucking strangest thing. And I'll tell you why, because it doesn't fucking like wow investors. If you go to an investor or at a t-shirt company, if you go to the fucking other company and say, man, we're making Curious George shirts, he's gonna go, what? Why aren't you making Marvel? We're paying for this. Why aren't you making Marvel? Well, because there's only so many Marvel shirts you can do, asshole. There's only so much you can do. So there's waves, and that stuff in between. You need that stuff to fill in all those gaps. And there's just another way of working. Mm-hmm. And so my hope is that, regardless of this fucking interview, that's ultimately what he's talking about, because he's not going to fucking explain it the way I did, because this is like the worst way to speak with investors, you know? But like, I hope that's what he's doing, and what I figure is Chapek was doing the other thing, that these other guys were leveraging. Pinocchio's big, everyone knows it. Yeah, but you got to spend $250 million on what? What are you doing? Like, this is not the thing, man. Like, a good thing they did, it's not on Disney Plus, but was that Parade series. You spend a little bit of money, you use an IP you already had, and you got a quality fucking product that got people on board. But it went to Hulu. So you're a fucking moron. Like, it should be on Disney Plus. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever, man.
Bestman Bolton says, hates nostalgic, going wild for Willow, Indy, and Keaton's Batman in less than a year. See, there's a difference here between me and somebody who generally hates everything. No. It's because it's because I want to go forward with these things. I want to see what Michael Keaton is doing as Batman when he's fucking 60. I want to see what Indiana Jones is doing in 1969. I want to see what happens to Elora Danan when she grows up. I don't want to go back to exactly what I had before. I don't
listening
want
to Metallica. She's listening to Metallica.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not me getting mad. They didn't ruin my nostalgia by that. They just ruined the fucking thing by making it not what it was, not what it is, not what it was, you know. But what it is different. And so, like, that's my thing. That's why I've liked the original Star Wars movies. It's why I like the prequels. It's why I did, for the most part, like the sequels. It's why usually I'm like, okay, if this is doing something new at all with something that I already love, then I'm all about it. But what I'm not about is just trying to relive 1986 over and over and over again, because you can't. I'm well aware of this.
I think with the Marvel stuff on the TV side, they've had half a foot in, half a foot out the tub on this one. Like, putting Moon Knight up for a series is a brilliant idea. It's something people don't know about. You give you a different thing, multiple personalities, brilliant. But then they're like, but we got to also pinch pennies. And it's like, and we got to have 4 of these series a year. It's like, no, just do this one and another one and make sure it's a complete 12-episode series. Like, so everyone feels like they got their fucking money's worth, you know, like in their time, and they paid off. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can't. So it's just a whole look. There's never a cheap way to make superhero shit. So you need some other shit to fill in the blanks, you know, that doesn't cost as much. The only superhero you could do for super cheap or street level city stuff, like Daredevil, right? Or if you did a Batman series that was literally just a dude in some clothes, which no one wants to see, right? But I mean, I also watch it. I would like to see it, but like, it's just never cheap to do superhero shit. But yeah.
Junior Jingles wants to know what your background is today.
That's Avatar and Carrie Fisher saying, please, the glasses go here. Like, she's returning the 3D glasses. Yeah.
There was
That's
this
Carrie Fisher, man. Look at that
little piece of news today from all K-pop, believe it or not. And first, on his project with Disney Plus, Lee Jung-jae said, "I was told not to talk about it as much as possible. It seems that filming will run until March or April. I actually felt that in some ways, filming sets in Korea are actually more efficient. There are many."
Hold on. You know that this goes back to when they were shooting Kill Bill. If you've ever seen the making of Kill Bill, right? Like, and so they got Young Woo Ping, like the famous, the guy who like set up all the stunt work on like The Matrix and shit. Chen Wu Ping, whatever. He's fucking awesome. So like, But the way they would shoot everything in order, so you could destroy a whole fucking set in order, right? And everyone's clear. You don't have to worry about clothes being in sync and shit because they just shoot in order and 1-2 set, 1-2 set, 1-2 set. Here, everything's shot out of fucking order. So like that's what he's talking about. You know, they just do shit in a more logical order over there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but basically he just says, I feel that there are areas where the Korean method is more efficient. Of course, there are aspects I am learning from as well. So he's talking about the Korean method versus that. So it's like, yeah. So what are you saying, man? What are you trying to say? You trying to start a fight here? Trying to talk shit about the crew? What are you doing? What are you doing, Jung Jae? Huh? What are you doing, bud? But anyways, it wasn't really. It was just more confirmation though about when filming is going to basically go until, which I think lines up with what Bespin was saying this whole time.
Look, man, give a Korean studio the opportunity to do some live action Star Wars. Give them a one-off. You know, like let's see it. Yeah. Because I do think Star Wars needs more than it needs fresh takes. You know, like Visions to me is proof of how it works. You know, so
yeah. I mean, it's I think that it's complicated though, because it's like if they go and they did that, it would be saying, hey, you guys make Korean movies really, really well, or do these stories, but now go make it for a popcorn American audience. It's like in the West, and it's like
give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a big
one-off, not a series, dude. But you can do like a one-off.
Well, you do one-offs until they're good, and then when the one-off is good, you make more, right? I mean, that's fine. I think, I think that's sort of where we're at right now. What I think is going to happen with this next series is if it doesn't really take off, I think that the general ideas get cannibalized into their own standalone other movies that get changed around. For instance, let's just pretend everybody doesn't like the new main character, it doesn't work or something. Then they go and they're okay, well the second movie was supposed to be about pod racing or Rogue Squadron or whatever. Then they go and then they just go, okay, we're going to change it around and you know revamp it all. But I think that's where they're at. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they got it sounds like they're pretty confident about what they have lined up. Bestman Bulletin says they're doing 18 episodes for Daredevil, the most episodes Marvel's done, and hopefully they're giving them the correct budget for that.
Yeah, you know what that says to me? They're 25, 27-minute long episodes, and it's really like 8 or 9 episodes if it were an hour each. And if they are half-hour episodes, it's going to piss off people.
Yeah.
They're not making 18 hours a show. That means they're doing half-hour shows. I don't agree with that. This is another one of those, let's find a way to give them more, but also like I don't. Look, there is sometimes, and it doesn't hold true forever, but every little section has a zeitgeist. And right now people sort of go, hey, I expect an hour, you know, and I expect around a dozen episodes. And I keep feeling like Disney keeps trying to find a way to not do that, you know? And I don't know.
Jedi Mike, once again, thank you for being a channel member as always, and everybody who is a channel member supporting the channel. Jedi Mike says Korean method means no John Williams opening. Like if we're doing
K-pop version, like
K-pop Williams, that'd be fun.
K-pop version,
that'd be fun. Yes. Let's get BTS doing behind the scenes.
All anime openings are better anyway, so just give it that full treatment.
Anime does have some pretty good songs.
The best songs,
yeah. Japanese music is they know how to write a chorus over there. But Korean method means no John Williams. Well, I'm gonna like I've been saying all episode 7, 8, and 9 had John Williams' main theme. Nothing after that has had the John Williams main theme in it. Absolutely nothing. Not even that terrible opening they have with the helmets for Disney Plus.
That's the worst opening. It's the worst. I fucking hate it.
It sounds like Marvel shit. I feel like I'm going to watch a Marvel show. I feel like Daredevil's going to be like posing like this or something.
How often do I say I hate something? Like, let's be honest. Like, well, that's not my thing is usually what I generally say. I fucking hate that opening. It's so cheap. It looks like someone tried to steal pewter figures, you know, from the game castle or some shit, and the alarm's going off. It's fucking, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I think it should be like, it's Star Wars time, Star Wars time, Star Wars time.
Yeah.
That'd be more fun.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could get like a Japanese guy to say it, like Star Wars time, Star Wars time. You know,
Just get a Yezum out there, right? Star Wars time, right? Like that. I'll watch that every fucking. Way better. Yeah, way better.
Yeah, but
I never thought I disliked something more than the THX opening, but here we're at. They did it.
Yeah, it could be better, and it would have, you know, I really hate to say it, but I feel like John Williams, obviously, like, best days are behind him. But if John Williams had one little leitmotif in him to kick out, one last one, just one, one to say bye, it'd be so.
Kenobi would have
so
been
nice.
the one.
Well, the thing I would say, my critique of all of it, though, of Kenobi, of Galaxy's Edge, and Solo, it takes too fucking long. These need to be like 10 seconds, like da 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 na 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 na. Fucking, how long did that take? But
oh no, man, I really like that fucking like opening of Daredevil. Like when they had that series, I love that shit with this music and the weird blood flowing over statues and shit, forming the city. Thought that shit was dope. You want to skip it, great, but it fucking is dope. You can watch it.
No, I don't know if I'll skip it. It just depends. But no, but when it comes to what I'm saying is, somebody just needs to tell John Williams, you need to speed it the fuck up, oldie. You know what I mean? Let's do this, old man. Come on, wake up. Let's give him some coffee. Give him a little bit of cocaine. He's like, where am I? We'll be like, you're in 1977.
Mega Rise with the mint, right?
Yeah, you're in 1977. You've done Jaws, and you got to live up to that, bud. And then just see what he does. You know what I mean?
Does David Lynch make music? Can we just? He hasn't lost his edge. That's for certain.
Or, you know, stop letting fucking Michael Giacchino direct and say, get back there on the violin and the piano, you piece of shit.
The fact they didn't snap him up is crazy, because I really enjoyed the Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. Smaller packages for M&Ms. Hey, I like my M&Ms in high heels.
Oh yeah.
Jedi Mike says Lucasfilm Star Wars opening is just a mid THX opening.
Fair, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you guys are on the same page there. I actually don't. It doesn't offend me. I just don't care about it. I don't need it. It just doesn't do anything for me, and I'm just like, yeah, what? It just feels like another menu to skip through. It's like skip. Stop showing me this, and then it's like, you know. So just either make a good opening for all the shows, or make individual openings for them. That's what I say. But even
they should just buy. They should have just bought the TriStar opening and replaced it with like Watto.
Well,
that's very Star Wars, you know.
I actually had a weird theory I wanted to drop really quickly before we go about that.
Okay.
You know how Andor was the first show to show on network TV?
Yep.
Also, I think it's like the only one that or it's one of the first ones where they started making like the opening, like the opening things for it. Like Mando doesn't really have that. It just says like chapter 1, the kid or whatever it's called. And like, so like that they weren't supposed to be doing those like openings. Kenobi kind of had one too, but not, you know, it's that little like sandy thing. But anyways, I wonder if that was done with the possibility of pivoting to television if needed, and if that's why those ones had it, as opposed to the other shows.
I don't
you know,
know.
I mean?
Knowing Lucasfilm, they would just take the concept art and have us PA put some generic music over and call that the opening. You know, if they wanted to, they could literally just take the credits and run the imagery from the credits as the opening. You know,
yeah,
really, because Marvel hired Alan Silvestri to create that Marvel opener. And Disney sounds like they bought some shit off Audio Jungle. To be honest. It's not impressive.
Alan Silvestri, man, talk about peaking early though. I mean, like that guy's like
he's still
the guy who wrote but he's not living up to the Back to the Future fucking music at all.
Marvel thing.
And he did the Amazing Stories, right? Theme song as well.
Yeah. But the Avengers theme is great, dude.
I couldn't sing it for $1 right now.
Yeah, but it's not your fucking thing, so it doesn't matter. Like you're
I know.
taking your personal preference
No, but
versus
that's
the quality
what
of the actual work.
that's
No.
why it's not my personal preference though. You know
Hey,
what I'm
look,
saying?
Alice Silvestri scored Ferngully, so what? Like it's not a great score. Like it has its, but
Yeah,
he's
because
done
that's
many
as
many. He gave
after.
you Predator. Predator was after fucking Back to the Future. That's amazing.
So that's what I'm saying. After Back to the Future.
Abyss, brilliant. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I think he's
I
phoning
know
it
you
in.
don't, but
I think it's
I don't
phoning it in.
Nope.
But Rogue One opening. I like the Rogue One opening, but I don't think it fits the movie, and I don't think it really comes back enough. The little leitmotif from it, and I that's one weird
The
thing about that one. I think
It also makes more sense when you listen to Natalie Holt's, description of we got to run themes by John Williams. Didn't want to do that, so we made up our own shit. And I think that's what happened there too.
I think that's because Williams was involved more than he. I think when they use it's only when they use Williams themes that it becomes an issue, and so they wouldn't have had that problem on Rogue One because they weren't using his stuff. But when it comes to like his music being in something, that's when he gets to like cross his arms and go, no. John Williams says, no. And then so whatever. Yeah, but that Kenobi, I like I said a million times, I feel bad for her. I don't think she was in an environment in a winning place with that one, no matter what. And I think people were pretty hard on her, and I don't think it was her fault. But there's a lot of that in Kenobi, I think, as a series in general.
Also, man, not for nothing, I'm a big fan of Kelly Dixon's work, editor Kelly Dixon. However, I was rewatching Black Panther, which I'm a mixed bag on with that film. I'm like, it's like too much story for one movie for me, but I'm like, whatever. But I'm like, there's something, the editing's off on this film. I'm like, who edited this shit? And I was like, Kelly Dixon's on that. Now, she was on Kenobi, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not saying good, bad work, but maybe a Yellowstone might be more her territory than big pulpy blockbuster science fiction-y things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So more character driven, because there are character cuts in that movie that work really well, but then there's just a ton of shit where you're like, the editing's really wonky on that film, man.
Well,
like,
what? Yeah, the editing is. We were like, Better Call Saul, right? And we're like, this doesn't feel like we're getting that quality of an edit and stuff like that. And I have to think it's coverage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
she won't talk about it, so I don't know. But I can only, all I'm saying is when I've noticed wonky editing on Kenobi, I'm like, who did this? And I'm like, oh. And then another movie random, I'm like, well, who did this? Oh. And I'm like, well, that's not a good sign. So I love her work, man, on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but on her Star Wars and Marvel 50-50 on that one, like.
Yeah. Bespin Bolton says Kevin Feige. Less Marvel series will be released going forward, with more time planned to be given between each show's release so they can have their own time to shine.
Smart. That's the exact quote. Good quote, too. That's all you need to say.
Bespin, is that a direct quote?
Yeah,
or is that a paraphrase?
That's the direct quote, man. I hope that is. Just come out and say the obvious that people want to hear,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I feel about it to some extent. Like, like with the Star Wars shows, like the greedy part is from EW, and that was a direct quote from EW, just so we know for sure. But it comes down to like, I would like 4 Star Wars shows a year. That'd be great for me, right? It's really fun. At the same time, once we get back to the movies, I don't need as many Star Wars shows going on when I have films.
Because those marketing campaigns, dude, they're going to be everywhere. You're going to be hearing about Star Wars for like we're talking about Avatar for 8 weeks, right? You're not, off one show, not like 8 weeks of shows, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets real tiresome, right? Like,
well, like I love the Clone Wars, and when they announced Lost Missions was coming out, it was a bit hard for me to focus on like being excited for Clone Wars: The Lost Missions when I know Episode 7 is being made right now. You know what I mean? It's just such a different like kind of thing, like where your imagination goes and what gets you. You know, it's hard to be excited for this thing when there's this really big thing coming out. And so I'm hoping that to some extent Star Wars does that as well, where it's like really special shows. Like for instance, Andor is not a show that would ever have been. I don't think it would have prospered in film as much as it did in a 12-part series. So I would rather them have shows like Andor or shows that aren't as commercially viable as something that could be in the theater. So it's paraphrased, but he says it's the gist. The code is much longer, but it's the gist, says Bespin Bulletin. So that's what makes me wonder if moving forward, you know, we go down to 3 Star Wars shows and then maybe down to 2 Star Wars shows in a film in 2025. Like right now, that's kind of where my mind's been. And I've also wondered too with like Rangers of the New Republic, with that one getting shelved. By the way, Star Wars Meg has an interview with the character the Carson character, the actor who plays Carson in Mando, and he talks a little bit about Rangers of the New Republic. There's some interesting stuff there. But so check out her video when it hits. I don't want to say her interview before it's out, you know. But it's cool. But I kind of wonder if that was sidelined for Skeleton Crew. Because when you think about it, if they had made Rangers of the New Republic and Skeleton Crew, it's a fucking lot. I mean, that's a lot of Star Wars all going by at one time. And I don't really think I don't think Skeleton Crew would have happened. And it's on Meg's Patreon. And she's going to be releasing, if you're not a Patreon supporter, over the next like week or so, you'll be getting like clips from it, from what I understand. But it's definitely worth checking out. It's good. So anyways, where I'm going with this is I don't know like how much is good. There comes a point, I think, where it's like you need to retain some subscribers on Disney Plus, but after a certain point,
but evergreen content does that. Jason, that is what the Star Wars, that is what. Well, no. What I'm talking about evergreen, I mean the cheers, the fucking.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, I keep Disney Plus because of the Star Wars films.
Right.
It's a convenience. I'm spoiled, but if they had fucking Friends and The Office and Cheers equivalents on there, that would definitely be like, yeah, of course I'm keeping this. You're completely right. Okay, so here's a quote from Bespin Bulletino from the EW Feige quote. One of the powerful aspects of being at Marvel Studios is having these films and shows hit the zeitgeist. It is harder to hit the zeitgeist when there's so much product out there and so much content, he says. We want Marvel Studios and the MCU projects to really stand out and stand above. The pace at which we're putting out the Disney Plus shows will change so they can get a chance to shine. And then Bespin says, when asked if there's more time between series or less, he said both.
Yeah, and I also think those cartoons like X-Men 97, like in the Spider-Man one, those could be big ones, especially X-Men 97. You keep X-Men going as a cartoon, bro.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that they're doing where I'm like, yeah, I like that art style and I enjoyed that cartoon.
I don't want that same crew to do a Marvel versus Capcom series, like actual animated series, versus Marvel versus, and get all these crazy anime directors to come in with them CGI toon fucking people and just hook up some crazy ass battles.
Street Fighter versus Marvel. Do it.
It's Marvel versus Capcom. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Oh wait, you want to play?
No, me and you, like let's make it.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be about Blanca and Bison.
Huh?
Right?
Yes, and Blanca is Grogu's dad.
Yeah. Well, it turns out Blanca is a clone of Grogu that went awry. Pershing,
he electrifies. He doesn't know yet. It's a new power coming.
Pershing was fucked up on spice and shit. And then here comes Blanca.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would be kind of cool though if Grogu got Sith lightning and was able to do the Blanca. Come on, Favreau. So stop fucking around, bud. Let's do it. But yeah. So when you look at it, I mean, if these shows are usually they're between 6 and 8 episodes, let's just pretend that they're usually at 8. That's like 2 months though. So that leaves around 6 shows.
They got to go 12.
Year,
they got to go 12.
Yeah. 12. So that would leave us, around 3 shows. 3 shows for Star Wars probably. And then then you get 3 from Marvel and then other things. And we still know like Willow is coming and stuff like that, which honestly, I'm not even kidding. Right now, if Willow season 2 dropped today, I wouldn't watch it right now. I don't know if I'll feel different as time goes on, but the actual core of it's good, but they just ruin it, They just ruined it with the music for me. And other things, but mostly that. Fucking just said fucking bitch. She said bitch. I like cussing. I love cussing.
It's not the series.
But not in Willow. Not in my Willow. It doesn't belong there. I don't belong in Willow, neither does James Hetfield. Bestman Bulletin says having a bigger gap between the Marvel shows can be filled by a Star Wars show.
Yeah, if you lap Marvel, Star Wars, you got a good. That's 4 series a year, really, when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
12 plus if there are 12 episodes each. That's 4. That's 48 episodes. That's a full year's worth of content, man. To be honest with you. So you bring it down to 10 episodes to give yourself a little bit of a buffer. That puts you at 40 weeks out of 52. That's 12 weeks off. You fill a couple cartoon series. You're good to go.
Well, I mean, I think I feel like the cartoon stuff is but no, I bet you it's 3 Marvel shows and 3 Star Wars shows.
Well, I have been so looking forward to this Spider-Man one they're doing because they rendered it in like a Steve Ditko like 60s style, but I heard that crew was dissolved. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a thing with Sony they don't want to pay. I don't know.
Oh,
but yeah, I know. But it looks great, man. It looks like cool 60s style art.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part with like the 3D. I'm more of a 2D guy, but with 3D you can easily get 2 different styles easier. You know what I mean? Like, and with more consistency. So you can do a Fantastic Four series that looks like poppy 60s style stuff, but with cool modern rendering, and harder to do in 2D, switching styles and stuff, because those things are usually animated overseas and style guides. It's harder, it's way more complicated. So, yeah.
Well, if anybody goes by, sees Feige somewhere, you're out getting, you're out getting sushi and he's there, and or you're at the sushi buffet and he's there, he's loading up on his California rolls. Yeah, he's loading up on his California rolls. Just look at him
at the VA Haas Casino.
And what I want you to look at him, and I want you to say, "Mind the gap," and then just look at him.
More than likely, you're the most likely person here to run into him in your car just driving. Like, you pull over. You look over,
hit him.
Yeah, you hit him like Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction.
Listen, we had this idea. Okay, I'll let you go. Don't worry, I will let you go. You will live. But we have this idea for a Blanca TV series.
You both wake up in a dungeon, and the gimp sounds like Chapek. Miss Miraculous. Oh no!
You don't fuck with Bob Iger, man.
We gotta go, Jason.
Yeah, Bob Besson says the overlap between Marvel and Star Wars audience is huge, especially for Disney Plus subscribers. Makes sense to switch between those two. They'll likely retain the subs.
And give them a Jedi. Look, I'm gonna be honest, man. Just give them a Jedi series. Just give them a series with real Jedi fucking doing shit, even if I don't like it. Well, just give them some shit to watch. Because
we saw Jedi Chewbacca the other day.
Bad Batch ain't cutting it.
I think we're gonna get that in Acolyte probably.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting a Wookiee for certain in Acolyte. We've seen it.
It's a Wookiee Jedi with the man bun. What do you want?
Yeah.
What else do you fucking want?
It's so got me
spoiled
I reserve the right. I want to see actual footage. I don't.
Just because
it's not a good photo to leak.
You know what that Wookiee does to people's wives at yoga class. You know what he does.
Yes.
You know what.
Yoga.
All right, everybody. We're gonna go. I have to go get my kids from school. Turns out they need their dad to get them from school sometimes. But we'll be back tomorrow, and I'm gonna cover the Bad Batch tomorrow, not tonight. So I'll see everybody tomorrow, and I think Max might join us tomorrow for a bit, talk about it too.
Oh, nice. Oh, and my heart goes out to her family in the Turkey earthquakes and everything.
Her Turkish friends.
Yeah. Just I think her cousin passed away from it. It was really, really heart wrenching. So
yeah, that situation is fucking nuts. That's so crazy. It's unfathomable. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow. And give to your Turkish charity with the one that you trust, and be cool. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.